So in this video, I want to talk about why some of us grow up to be angry, aggressive, and defiant, right? So there are many reasons why we can grow up and we realize we are extremely angry, we are aggressive, and we are defiant. And that is some of the reasons are because when you were growing up, when you were young, you probably felt like your parents was not really listening to you. Like if you are talking to them, explaining something to them, or expressing your feelings, or you want to discuss something with them, you probably felt like they weren't listening to you. You probably felt like they didn't understand your point of view, or they didn't understand the way you think, or they didn't understand your personality. So that could kind of cause you to become angry and to become aggressive from a young age, right? So you might think that they don't care about you, or they don't care about what you want, or they don't care about what you need, or they don't care if you're happy. You could feel like they just don't get your individuality, or they, especially like when you're a teenager, you could feel like they don't get you, and that could make you angry and aggressive. So to get your message across to your parents, you become angry, you become aggressive, and you become defiant also in school. And you could even reach as far as hitting your parents, right? So those are some reasons why or where you start to come aggressive or angry from when you're young, even before becoming a teenager, right? And you could also continue on to be angry and aggressive with your parents growing up because that is how you get your way, right? Your parents might want to try to get you to stop being angry quickly and stop being aggressive quickly, or just try to avoid you and to maybe not deal with you. So they give you what you want, they give you your own way. So you continue to be angry to get your own way, right? And you might continue to be aggressive, angry, because it's how you feel powerful, and that's the only time you feel strong and powerful in your life. So you continue on to be angry with them, to be aggressive with them. And you could also continue to do this because you usually get frustrated easily, and you might get anxious about not getting things right growing up, and you might be a perfectionist and you want to get things perfect, and when you don't get things perfect and you don't get things right, you just revert to anger, being aggressive and being angry, and then it starts to become a habit, right? It becomes a habit after a while, and then you can't stop being aggressive, you can't stop being angry. Even if you want to stop and you grow up and you realize, why am I so angry, why am I so aggressive, why do I fly off the handle so easily, you might want to stop, and you know that is not the right way to communicate, and you just continue on doing it because now it become a habit, right? And the other reason why you might just continue on being angry, aggressive, and defiant is because you want attention desperately, and you want to feel like somebody care about you, because maybe you feel disregarded by your parents, or you feel like they ignore you, so you just revert to anger, you revert to aggression and defiance. You just refuse to obey at home, at school, just to get attention, right? So those are reasons why you may grow up to be angry, to be aggressive, and to be defiant, right? And parents could heighten the possibility for you as a child or a adult, or for adult children to become angry, defiant, aggressive. They could heighten that possibility by them being dismissive, right? If you had a dismissive parent growing up, which I talked about before in other videos, when you have a dismissive parent, they might treat your feelings like as not important or trivial. They might just disengage when you show big feelings. They might just ignore your emotions, they ignore your feelings. They might want your negative feelings to just, or emotions to just disappear quickly, so they might avoid you. And having a dismissive parents dismissive parent or parents mean like they minimize your experience, they minimize your feelings, they downplay the events that is happening in your life, which could cause big emotions. So they might not really try to solve problems with you, try to reason with you. Just some of them might believe that as time go by, the situation or the problem will just resolve itself. So that's dismissive parents could cause you to become angry and to become aggressive and defiant just because of them treating your feelings like it's not important, treating your events, things that happen to you in your life as trivial, and just not reasoning with you, not solving problems with you. That could make you become angry and defiant and aggressive, right? And it's not like direct. It's as months pass and years pass of having a parent like that, you start to become angry and aggressive, especially if they don't solve problems with you, right? Another way parents heighten the possibility of you becoming and growing up to be angry, growing up to be aggressive and defiant is when there are emotionally neglectful parents, which I talked about before in other videos. You could check my playlist talking about family life issues, I think it is. You could check the video 7 mistakes our parents made that destroyed our growth as a child. You could check that out for more information about emotionally neglectful parents. So an emotionally neglectful parent or parents is when a parent, like, they fail to meet your emotional needs, and this will involve them being unresponsive to you, just they're not available to you, which like physically, or they could be there and they're not engaging with you. There's just a there's limited emotional interactions with you, your parents. Basically, emotionally neglectful parents, they don't give you attention, they don't give you support, and it's just like a lack of affection, right? So having an emotionally neglectful parent can lead to many things, not only aggression and not only anger. It could lead to you just growing up and it's hard for you to strive, it's hard for you to be proactive, it's hard for you to have resilience, it's hard for you to be strong and tough, so, or you could be hyperactive, you could get depression, you could get low self-esteem, you could get involved in drugs, alcohol, overuse of drugs, alcohol, substance abuse, right? So not only there's a possibility for you to become aggressive and angry, but also those what I just mentioned. And basically you feel unloved and you feel unwanted growing up, and you misbehave to get that attention. So some children are, you might be avoidant and you stop talking and you withdraw, but some grow up to be aggressive and angry to get attention, right? So some withdraw, and when you withdraw, you might appear that you're uncaring and that you're indifferent, which might not be the case. So you could also grow up and you become like, you're afraid to be emotional, you're afraid to have like emotional closeness with other people, and you would have intimacy problems in your romantic relationship, because when you grow up you lack love, you lack care, you lack compassion from your parents, you lack understanding, and sometimes your parents don't respect you, and all of that causes problems in your relationship when you grow up. Not only romantic relationships, but relationship with your friends, your co-workers, and your boss, right? So another way parents heighten the possibility of you becoming angry as an adult, or defiant or aggressive growing up, is that they were not there, they were absent. So there's a lack of support and there's a lack of guidance for you. Therefore, you're not taught communication skills, you're not taught values, you're not taught reasoning skills, you're not taught emotional intelligence, which I talked about before. Is just like controlling your emotions, knowing how you feel, knowing how other people feel, knowing how to communicate, and knowing how to act the best way in different situations, right? That was just a glossing over, right? But you could become aggressive and angry and defiant because there's no role model for you, right? So then you learn from your peers, and then maybe your peers in the same situation where they don't have a role model either, and you're learning from each other, and there's a lack of guidance and there's a lack of support there. So you might just be reverting to being angry, aggressive, because there's no guidance of teaching you how to communicate and how to manage your emotions and how to behave, right? So there are other ways that parents heighten the possibility for you to be angry, aggressive, defiant, is that your parents abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, I talked about before, sexual abuse, violence in the home, and then you acting like your parents, you copy them. Maybe your parents divorce, they separate, your parents don't get along, they fight, they quarrel, they arguing often, you're seeing that, and you pick up that behavior, you think it's normal, or you're left alone to like fend for yourself at an early age. So then peer pressure come in and you could be around bad influence, and then you start to become defiant, angry, aggressive, right? Another way is poverty, growing up in hard times, trying to make ends meet with you and your parents, quarreling and being frustrated really easily because you can't get your basic needs met, and that could make you become angry and aggressive by being frustrated and stressed every day trying to get your basic needs met. So those are like three ways parents heighten the possibility for you to become angry, to become aggressive, and to become defiant. And it's not direct, it happens in subtle ways over months and over years, right? And we grow up, some of us, we grow up and we recognize, wow, I'm angry, I'm aggressive, and maybe defiant. And you, when you grow up and you start to become adult, you might recognize this in romantic relationships. When you, well, if you might not know your attachment style, but when you start to figure out your attachment style, when you start to realize, like, maybe I have unhealed childhood trauma and you have past baggage from your parents and other romantic relationships, and you realize you feel to handle easily, you get irritated easily, you're angry and you're aggressive. You start to places you realize this growing up is a romantic relationship. In your workplace, when you constantly have conflict with your colleagues and your boss, you're always fighting, you don't know how to communicate effectively, you don't know how to control your emotions, you revert to anger and aggression. You might see this problem like with you constantly fight with your family members, you always have conflict, there's always an argument, there's always tension and problems. You might realize this, that you're angry, aggressive, and defiant because your friendships, due to your rage and your anger and your aggression, you don't know how to communicate, and people, and you lose your friendships, you lose your friends because of how you are, right? Or you might grow up, you have your own children, and you just can't help but be angry with them, you can't help but be aggressive with them because probably that's how your parents were with you, or other things happen that I mentioned before in this video, and now you are aggressive and angry with your children, and it's automatic, and you might not even know how to control yourself or how to behave or how to reason with them or how to help them control their emotions or so on. So you could also realize this growing up when you grow up, you become an adult, and you realize you are frustrated with small issues. You could feel rejected easily, you could just be hostile towards people for no reason, or you might just start not liking yourself and you realize, okay, I'm angry, I'm aggressive, I'm defiant, and it's hard to change, and it's like it's automatic, right? So basically you realize maybe you shout at family members, you shout at your colleagues, you get angry and aggressive with strangers, or you're physically violent, you hit people, you punch people, you might slam doors at home, at work, and you're wondering why you're like this and why you can't stop. So yes, we might realize when we become an adult in those situations, right? So what to do? to reduce this anger, this aggression, and this defiance as an adult child. Well, when I say adult child, I mean you're over the age of 18 and you still have issues that is affecting your life that came from your childhood and past romantic relationship that has not been like worked on, and it's affecting your life, right? And you still have issues and problems with your parents as an adult, and you still have issues and problems in your romantic relationships because of baggage and unhealed trauma. That's what I mean by adult child. So basically, to reduce this anger and this aggression, and this defiance, you have to realize and accept and know, like, yeah, I'm angry a lot. I fly off the handle easily. I get upset easily, or I have a temper, or yes, I am aggressive, right? And then when you do that, you just choose to analyze yourself, and you decide that you're going to change yourself. So you have to look out for situations that may trigger your aggression and try to work out the best way to deal with these situations in the future. You're going to see where you become angry, where you become frustrated and aggressive easily, and you're going to try to change that, right? So you might need to take a step back or cool off, and think about the situation and then come back and deal with it. That is one way. You could take a walk, cool off. You could ask for time to think about your response and come back. That's just an example. So yeah, and also you need to learn how to communicate. You need to learn communication skills. If you're angry and you're aggressive and you fly off the handle really easily, you have a temper. You need to learn communication skills that deals with how you're going to disagree appropriately. You know, how to take criticism well, how to just accept when somebody say no, how to accept no for an answer and move on. So you need to kind of learn how to stand up for yourself, right, while respecting yourself and respecting others. The next thing is you need to like tame your temper. You need to think before you speak. You might need to walk away sometimes. You might just need to take quiet times for yourself during the day, and have like positive conversations in your mind, and remembering, for example, that anger doesn't fix anything and it just makes things worse, and it just creates tension and more arguments with your family members, with your colleagues, with your boss, right? And you cannot continue to criticize and blame your parents. You have to take responsibility as an adult for yourself and learn communication skills. You cannot blame and criticize your romantic partner when you know you have problems, issues, baggage from the past that is coming in to your relationship and is creating problems. And I'm not trying to say that you need to be perfect. Obviously, you would make mistakes here and there, but if you are angry and aggressive and have a temper and you're defiant really easily and really quickly and very often, there will be problems, right? So you need to focus on where you get angry, on your aggression, and where you have outbursts and where you have problems with others, and focus on managing stress and keeping your composure in heightened situations, which would not automatically happen in one day. It will take many months, even years. This could take. And remember, like, obviously it will take time to change, and yes, you will get angry again several times here and there, but you need to practice positive self-talk and reason out things in a positive way in your mind, and you could come back to the situation or whatever, right? So just figure out what you need to reduce getting angry. That you have to figure out that for yourself. Maybe it could be you forgive them, you forgive people, and you move on. Sometimes we just need to avoid certain people. Sometimes we need to reduce the communication with them, even your parents, your close friends, yeah, or even colleagues, or you just need to reduce the communication with them, avoid them sometimes. Sometimes you might need to break up with someone who's bringing out the worst in you, romantic relationship. um yeah, you need to just most of the time try to be around people who are calm and who are caring and understanding, and you would pick up their behavior and you could learn from them, right? And next thing is, to have your basic needs met. The next thing is to practice to relax in your own special way, which you would know for yourself. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's yoga, maybe you drink tea. I drink tea and sit in silence. Maybe you go to the beach, maybe you walk out. Yeah, I walk out. You just practice doing things that relax you. Exercise, let off steam, let off, release pent up anger from different conflict or situations you might have with people. Get enough rest, because right, so you exercise, you get enough rest, because like when you're tired, you're more likely to become frustrated really easily, and you could misinterpret situations, and you lose your temper really easily when you don't get enough rest, right? So try not to take on too much responsibility. Try not to become too stressed out or worn down, especially at work, and take time to relax and take time with your friends and your family. Right, so those are just some quick tips you could use to reduce your anger, aggression, defiant as an adult. Right, so this was just a quick video just to show you where your anger and your aggression came from, and where parents heighten it. So if you are a new parent or you want to become a parent, you would know that there's certain things you shouldn't do, or certain things that you should do to reduce your child to be becoming angry, aggressive, and defiant. Right, so this was just a quick video. I hope this helped, and see you in the next video.